Gelato. Born in Renaissance Italy during the 16th century, gelato is often credited to Bernardo Buontalenti, who created a frozen dessert for the Medici court in Florence. The name simply means frozen in Italian. Unlike regular ice cream, gelato contains less air and less fat, typically 4 to 8% milk fat compared to ice cream's 14 to 25%. It's mixed slowly, which creates a denser, more intense flavor. Gelato is also served at a warmer temperature than American ice cream, which boosts the flavor. Traditional flavors like stracciatella and pistachio remain popular, but modern gelateries experiment with everything from olive oil to basil. Kulfi. This Indian frozen dessert dates back to the Mughal Empire in the 16th century, when ice was brought down from the Himalayas and mixed with condensed milk and saffron. The word kulfi comes from the Persian kulfi, meaning covered cup. Unlike ice cream, kulfi isn't whipped or churned. It's just poured into molds and frozen solid, which gives it a very dense, creamy texture. The milk is slowly simmered for hours until it reduces and caramelizes, creating a unique flavor you can't get any other way. Traditional flavors include cardamom, pistachio, and mango, and it's often served on a stick or sliced into pieces rather than scooped. Mochi ice cream. While mochi, the chewy rice cake, has been a Japanese staple for centuries, mochi ice cream is actually a modern invention. It was created in the 1980s by Frances Hashimoto and her husband Joel Friedman in Los Angeles, combining traditional Japanese mochi with American ice cream. The outer layer is made from sweet rice flour that's pounded into a sticky, elastic dough, then wrapped around a ball of ice cream. The contrast between the soft, chewy exterior and creamy interior creates a unique texture. Green tea, black sesame, and red bean are common flavors. Dondurma. Turkey's stretchy ice cream has been made in the Kahramanmaraş region since the 1500s. The secret ingredients are salep, a flour made from wild orchid roots, and mastic, a resin made from the mastic tree. These give dondurma its famous elastic, chewy texture that's so thick you can eat it with a knife and a fork. Street vendors are famous for their theatrical performances, stretching and twisting the ice cream on long metal rods while teasing customers. The texture is very dense and melts much slower than regular ice cream, which was originally practical for hot Mediterranean climates. Because wild orchids are now endangered, some modern producers use alternative thickeners, but purists insist only real salep creates authentic dondurma. Sorbet. The word sorbet comes from the Arabic sharba, meaning a drink, and frozen fruit ices traveled from the Middle East to Europe through trade routes. The French perfected sorbet in the 17th century, serving it between courses to cleanse the palate at royal banquets. True sorbet contains no dairy whatsoever. It's just fruit, sugar, and water, which makes it naturally vegan. The lack of fat means the fruit flavors taste more pure. Master sorbet makers know that the sugar content is critical. Too little, and it freezes. Too much, and it stays slushy. Lemon sorbet remains the classic palate cleanser, but modern versions use everything from passion fruit to champagne. Helado de paila. This Ecuadorian ice cream has been made the same way for over 200 years in the mountain town of Ibarra. The name literally means ice cream of the pan, because it's made in large bronze pails set in ice and salt. A maker continuously scrapes and paddles the mixture by hand as it freezes, which takes serious arm strength and creates a silky, almost crystalline texture. Traditional flavors use local fruits like blackberry, tree tomato, and naranjilla. Some families have been making helado de paila for generations, and they guard their techniques closely. It's always served in small wooden bowls, and locals say the cold mountain air is essential to getting the texture right. Booza. Also called Arabic ice cream, booza has been made in Syria for over 500 years. Like Turkish dondurma, it uses mastic and salep, but booza is traditionally pounded with a heavy wooden paddle, called a mayane, for over an hour. This constant pounding incorporates almost no air, creating an incredibly dense, elastic texture that resists melting. The pounding technique has been passed down through generations, and experienced makers can tell just by the sound and feel when it's ready. Booza is traditionally flavored with rosewater, orange blossom, or pistachio. In Damascus, there are ice cream shops that have been run by the same families for centuries, and some claim their recipes are over 400 years old. Spaghetti ice. Created in 1969 by Dario Fontanella, an Italian gelato maker living in Germany, this dessert looks exactly like a plate of spaghetti with tomato sauce. Vanilla gelato is pressed through a potato ricer onto a bed of whipped cream, then topped with strawberry sauce and white chocolate shavings to mimic Parmesan. It was originally made as a playful way to attract children, And it became so popular in Germany that it's now a staple in ice cream parlors across the country. The presentation is everything. It has to look convincing enough that kids do a double take. Some shops now make variations that look like spaghetti carbonara or pesto pasta. Kakigori. Japan's shaved ice dessert dates back over 1,000 years to the Heian period, when aristocrats scraped ice from mountains and topped it with sweet syrup. The name comes from kaki, scrape, and kori, ice. What makes kakigori special is how finely the ice cream is shaved. It's almost snow-like, not chunky like a snow cone. Modern machines can shave ice so thin it melts on your tongue instantly. Traditional flavors include matcha, strawberry, and sweet red bean, but lately shops have been topping it with condensed milk, fresh fruit, or even entire slices of cheesecake. During summer festivals, kakigori stands are everywhere, and some specialty shops stay open year-round, serving premium versions with handcrafted syrups. Semifreddo. This Italian dessert translates to half cold. It's softer than ice cream, but firmer than mousse. Semifreddo emerged in Italian cuisine during the 19th century as a way to create frozen desserts without an ice cream maker. It's made by folding whipped cream and beaten eggs into a flavored base, then freezing it in a mold. Because it contains so much air from the whipped cream, it never freezes solid, staying creamy and scoopable straight from the freezer. Classic flavors include espresso, hazelnut, and zabaione. Semifreddo is typically sliced rather than scooped, and it's often served as an elegant plated dessert in restaurants rather than eaten from a cone.